Folks, the time has finally come. Let's put graphene on a pixel. GrapheneOS is a privacy and security focused operating system based on the Android open source project. Graphene is designed to give you way more control over your data than stock Android or iOS. It removes most built-in tracking and adds extra protections behind the scenes that make it much harder for apps, malware, or even attackers to access things that they shouldn't. GrapheneOS is particularly popular with security experts, activists, and criminals, but we're not going to talk about that. Basically anyone who's especially mindful about surveillance and tracking on their devices and want to take that extra step to protect it. In this video, I'm going to talk about my experience installing GrapheneOS as a complete beginner. My general thoughts, do I like it or dislike it, and is this something I would recommend for a normal person to try? If any of that interests you, grab your Google Pixel and let's get started. If you don't know me, I'm Spencer, and I like to talk about simple living, frugality, and digital minimalism. Let's get into it. As a digital minimalist, graphene is particularly interesting to me because it just kind of seems like the pinnacle of intentional tech. Google is famously hungry for personal data and uses that data to their profit. Now, Apple collects data too, but mostly they keep it for themselves. On a GrapheneOS device, if you choose to use Google Apps, the OS runs them in a sandbox, which is basically a controlled environment so that they can't freely collect your data. You specifically control what each app can access and only for the time that you're using it. Interestingly, at present, GrapheneOS can only run on Google Pixel phones. And while on the face of it, it may seem a bit funny, I don't think the point of the Graphene project is to achieve a fully de-Googled device. It's about making a secure and privacy-focused system, and Pixel hardware meets the security requirements they need. For this project, I'm going to be using a Google Pixel 8a. I picked this thing up secondhand on Facebook Marketplace last week for 200 Canadian dollars. In my mind, the Pixel 8a is a great device if you're looking to get into graphene, you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you also want the device to be supported for a long time. To my understanding, graphene can only support these devices for as long as Google supports them, and Google has now increased the amount of time they support these to 7 years. This particular device will be supported until May of 2031. And for 200 Canadian bucks for a device that's going to be supported for the next 5 years,
that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it.
So folks, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the install. If you're completely new to GrapheneOS and the open source world in general, it may seem a little bit intimidating, at least it did for me. It was only back in November that I installed Linux on my ThinkPad for the first time, and I was largely apprehensive about it because it just seemed really complicated. But with the original install of Linux Mint and then Debian after the fact, I was pretty surprised with how simple it really was. But after using Graphene's web USB-based installer, I've got to say it's much easier than Linux even still. Now, if you are a more advanced user, Graphene does have a command line installation guide, but that's exactly what I was trying to avoid, so I just did the normal one. On the installation page, Graphene takes you through everything. The prerequisites for what operating systems and browsers actually work. Because Debian Linux was supported for this, I decided I was going to use my ThinkPad for the install, but then I found out that you can't use Firefox. And because that's my main browser for Linux and I didn't really want to have to install Chrome just for this, I switched to my MacBook for the rest of the install. I'll quickly take you through the steps that I use for the install, but this is by no means comprehensive. The first thing I had to do was enable OEM unlocking on the Pixel itself. So first up, while still on Android, you have to go on your device onto the settings and then about this phone/tablet. Hit the build number menu entry over and over again until it tells you that developer mode has been unlocked. Then go to settings, system, and then developer options and toggle to the OEM unlock setting. You need to enable OEM unlocking in order to proceed with the install. From there, you shut down the device and then reboot it in the bootloader interface. To do that, you power up the device, and while it's powering up, you press and hold the volume down button. At this point, you want to open your web browser. I used Chrome, and then connect your phone to your computer via USB. And from there, when I say that they hold your hand, they actually do. Graphene has buttons on the web page that says Unlock Bootloader, which actually does the unlocking for you. It has Download Release, which downloads the most recent version of GrapheneOS. And finally, Flash Release, which actually flashes your device with the new OS and puts it on there. And to be clear, this fully replaces Android on your device and wipes all data, so back up anything you have to. Once Graphene was actually installed on the device, setting it up wasn't much different than my experience with iOS and Android in the past. At that point I was in, and what I saw was something that looked to me to be a very simplified version of Android. All the stock apps that come installed in the device have black and white icons, so it makes it look very minimal and muted. There's an app store on the device which allows you to download 2 other app stores through it. One app store is called Crescent, and I believe that's all free and open source, and the second option is the Google Play Store. In the app store, there's also an option to enable Google Play services. My intention with this device is fully to replace my iPhone 13 mini, and that means getting all of the apps that I would typically typically need my smartphone for. Potentially maps, banking, email access, Slack, things like that. I also have to have Facebook Messenger for communicating with the crew on one of the shows that I work on. So for me, at present, the Google Play Store was a must. A big misconception that I had with Graphene in the past was I thought that none of the apps that I could typically get at the Google Play Store would be compatible with this OS. And for the most part, to my delight, I was wrong about that. There are a few apps which don't work on Graphene, and I'll list them because I don't even know what they are, but none of the apps that I need have given me any trouble to install on this device and use. Now, in the open source and privacy community, a lot of people just use the free and open source alternatives and try to de-Google this phone as much as possible. But if you're somebody who needs those standard apps, but you want that increased security and you want to get Google at least limited in your life, not out of it completely, then Graphene can still be a great way to go. With that being said, I am going to try as many open source alternatives as I can and try to move in that direction as much as possible. I did try organic maps in the past, but I mainly used Google Maps on my iPhone. But once I installed Crescent, the other app store, I saw that organic maps was there to try, so I downloaded it and I actually like it. I don't think it has real-time traffic updates. I don't think it's as advanced for searching like restaurants near me or anything like that, but at the same time, it's not Google. So you win some, you lose some. I also got F-Droid and Obtainium, which are two other sources of getting apps on this device. F-Droid is another popular open source app store. And Obtainium, to my understanding, it basically allows you to pull down apps from different repositories where they're stored. You can get them from different places of the web, and Obtainium actually obtains them for you. One of the features I know I'm gonna miss if I put my iPhone on the shelf is AirDrop. As an alternative, I'm trying Local Send. Local Send is a free and open source alternative to AirDrop, which allows you to send files between devices over your local network. So already just being on Graphene, it's pushed me toward trying some more open source alternatives. I downloaded the banking apps that I use as well as the app that I use for investing called Wealthsimple in Canada. And those all seem to work without any issue as well, which was my main concern with trying Graphene. I was particularly concerned about Wealthsimple because the desktop version of that service doesn't have all of the features which you can get on the mobile app. They're a mobile first platform. If I had to say there was one thing I'm a little bit concerned about making the switch away from my iPhone, it really has nothing to do with GrapheneOS and more to do with Android and Google Pixels. The biggest issue for me is the cameras on these devices compared to iPhones. What I really like about my iPhone camera is the fact that it has an earlier version of the photo style setting that I can actually dial in kind of a baked in color, a filter over my images when I take the photo and I don't have to edit them in post. The photos on the Pixel are technically good when you talk about resolution and sharpness, but I find them to be pretty washed out, and side by side with my iPhone photos, they just can't compare. And I'm really surprised that pretty much no Android photo application can just take a photo with a filter applied to it already. Thankfully, because of the fact that I've physically decentralized my technology over the years, I have a standalone camera that I often carry around to take my photos anyway. All in all, folks, I'm feeling pretty excited with this setup. I have my case on here, my screen protector, most of my apps, and I'm pretty much ready to put my iPhone in a drawer and run GrapheneOS for a while. If you're at all interested in trying GrapheneOS, you have a Pixel kicking around, or you're considering picking one up, I would say don't hesitate and give it a shot. Like my experience with Linux, it's really not that hard to get into the open source world. The water's warm, people try to help you along the way. I heard that there's a lot of support in the GrapheneOS Discord, and most likely just to get yourself up and running, you won't even need any help because they've done such a good job with their installation guide getting you going. 2026 is really shaping up to being an open source year for me. Maybe I should have named this channel Open Source Adventures. And it's fun because I don't have any love for Apple or Google, really any of these companies. I have used their products, but I don't really want to use them. It feels much more aligned with how I'm trying to use tech nowadays. I'm trying to really curate my tech experience and use as much open source options as are available, so I'm able to get the most from my tech without corporations harvesting my data, tracking me, and getting the most from me at my expense. It's just cool to me that GrapheneOS is out there as an option, that it doesn't just have to be a binary choice of Android or iOS. I hope you found today's video interesting, folks. If you have any tips for me as a new Graphene user, please let me know your experience down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any free and open source app alternatives you'd like to offer to me, I would definitely like to de-Google my process as I move along. Thanks again for watching, folks. I appreciate you as always, and I'll see you in the next one.